now that we are back in this podcast and having a couple of interesting episodes, we have a very special person that we've invited today as well. But before we get into that, a lot of things have happened for the past couple of months while Melvin was away.
On official duties.
On official duties, don't know doing what. But there are some things that was a bit more recent, which was just last Saturday, right, Feroz?
Last Saturday, but yesterday was a more, I would say, interesting event.
Okay, what was this event?
It's a 2.4 Pocari Sweat Elite Race.
2.4 Pocari Sweat Elite Race. Did you guys take part?
No.
Not elite enough?
Not elite enough, yeah.
Got it.
I thought Pharaoh was supposed to take part, but they cancelled the Masters category last minute.
Oh, you mean the retiree category?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I think next year will come back.
In the first place, got Masters.
What?
If you've got Masters, I should have taken part, man.
So what is this challenge about? Or what is this Pocari 2.4 about?
I mean, it's our national, fitness test.
Okay.
Right? So it has been, if I'm not wrong, Rayong kind of made it into our national challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do? Run 2.4 on a track?
Yeah, on the track, yeah.
And then try to achieve a certain timing or something?
So ever since it started, right, it has always been on the track. But this year, they made it at Bedok Reservoir for the 5K. And I'm not sure if there's a 2.4 at Bedok Reservoir. I think there is, yeah.
Okay.
And then the elites are doing it on the track itself.
Okay. But all of it is like sanctioned 2.4 kilometer distance. So after you finish the race, you can proudly say that this is my time for 2.4.
Yeah.
It's not like 2.3 or 2.2 like what we used to do back.
So I've been doing 2.4 for so many years.
Right.
My time out sanctioned.
Yeah, never, bro. Unless you take part in Pocari Sweat.
Your 2.4.
Or you're doing in the army
okay.
camp.
Yeah, your 2.4
Next year. Got Masters, I join. I put Firoz also.
All right.
All right, man.
So
the
we
showdown between
yeah.
Mr. Wong and...
we have had men and women who ran both, all categories actually. And we have some interesting results that came out of it.
There's something interesting. So they even had an age group category, team event.
Age group?
Like a cross country kind of thing.
Wait,
Four to run.
getting me confused. So the Elite 2.4 was last night.
Yes.
Then there's the
before that
5K.
The 5K was the Saturday before. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there was a 5K for the age, like just normal people.
Yes, and the 2.4 also for normal, I guess. The school.
Like
it's open. It's open for anyone to sign
Yeah.
up. Okay.
So, but then again, yesterday itself, they have a 2.4 for the top schools.
Okay.
So people like schools like ACS, SIDA, what else? Evergreen SAC was also there. Yeah.
Evergreen.
They are upcoming in the cross.
Okay.
For the past few years. Yeah.
Okay, and
So they had a CDIF, BDIF, and then tertiary as well.
oh wow.
So tertiary, NUS won the category, followed by NTU.
And they can't remember.
I can't remember.
It's okay, It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But more importantly, elites, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Who
Right.
were the winners? Or
Elite.
the top three? And what are the timings? Did they all break the whatever mark they're supposed to break?
Okay.
Let's go.
Wait,
I have the results for the men's
Okay, the men's.
elite field. I saw we've got 9 participants, and the race was won by none other than our 5K king, Sean Go,
Wow.
in a time of 6 minutes 53 seconds.
Oh, did that beat Jiva's record? I think Jiva's the previous record.
No,
Jiva is 650. Yeah.
I thought Jiva was faster.
Yeah, 650.
648 or something like that.
Oh.
Okay, never mind.
So
Around
Jiva
there.
is still holding that 2.4.
Yeah, I think so, man. Jiva.
Bragging rights still there, brother.
Jiva, when you hear this, you better listen to this episode. Next week, we're going to have lunch. It's on you.
Okay.
All right, so coming in second,
Right.
Praveen Kumar Buhara from the Gurkhas contingent.
Nice.
All right, just finishing 6 minutes 54 seconds.
Just a few seconds behind.
Or just a few.
I saw this online. I wasn't there physically. Praveen cut through Sean, but I thought he's gonna take the
lead. Yeah.
the lead, but not too sure why after cutting Sean he just held back and then Sean went ahead. It was just a few meters
To the finish line.
Yeah.
I heard there's been a little bit of
Jostling.
Jostling.
Oh, really?
tussle.
Jostling, or maybe got like some money, side money.
maybe they want to pass the money.
Wait, is the chicken rice still happening now? If you win, you get a lifetime
No,
voucher.
chicken rice no more lah.
no.
I tell you what, don't worry. I got some expired voucher. Pass you later.
Thank you, Jira.
All right, coming back.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And coming in third, running off the podium is our I don't know, first year NUS student, John Lim. So he came in with a time of 6 minutes 58 seconds.
Wow.
Very impressive. Congratulations to the top three
three,
finishers and also everyone else who finished the elite race.
Right.
And
Female? The female side? Sorry?
the female side.
Yeah.
Okay, just correction to that. It's 13 runners, not
13.
yeah. 13.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
you-
I got the top 9 here.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. So for female, they have only 6 runners.
Right.
Yeah. So the first one, so Romain So.
Hey,
Ah.
Romain! Let's go.
From Trackstar Athletics.
shout
with a timing
out to
of
Romain.
Yeah.
Shout out
with a timing of 8:05.
Wow.
8:05.
I think all of them were targeting sub 8.
Sorry lah.
Yeah.
About there lah. Wow.
Right. 8:05, guys. Faster than your mother, your grandmother. You know? So
Bro. How? 8:05.
I think now I can't even do 8:05, bro. Romain,
8:05
please
at
coach
the-
me. Yeah.
At the 2K mark.
2K mark. Yeah.
Yeah. And coming in second also,
Yeah.
one of her
Close training buddies.
close training buddy, Nicole Low,
Okay.
with a timing of 8:09.
Wow. All right.
So apparently Nicole has been laid off for quite some time.
Okay.
And then she's now making a comeback. Surprising. Still fast enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. But Nicole did a 5K that the other time with Vanessa and all, right?
So,
Yeah.
so
Till then, till
it's the
now,
period.
yeah.
It's the period of coming back.
Nice. Okay. Impressive. And then
Yeah.
lastly, for the top three.
And third in place is Rachel Longstaff
Wow. Okay.
with a timing of 8:21.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw Rachel with the pack for the first 3 laps, I guess.
Okay. Impressive time from the ladies as well.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
within 8:30. That's
So-
amazing.
I mean, the top all 6 are below 9, man.
Wow.
Below 8:45. The last one 6 from Trackstar as well, 8:40.
Okay.
Eiffel Lim. Yeah.
Congrats again to all the athletes who took part. And Firoz and Melvin, I'll see you there next year. Maybe we can do the team event, 400 meters each times 2.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
800 times 2.
Shout out to Pokari organizers. If you can have
Relay.
Baton.
media category, media category, we'll invite Bob as well.
Yeah.
He's raring to go already. He's laughing down there. 2.4 chicken
See,
feet.
if you're going to invite Bob, I think it would be great to also invite our special guest to join us for the
Oh,
run, don't
of
you think
course.
so?
Of
Right.
course.
A special guy who
But
was
I
once
give
a
you
runner.
one challenge.
Right.
I
Tell
give you
me.
one challenge.
Right.
I can say his first name. Can you say his last name?
Obviously. I mean, I'm definitely familiar with the last name. How about we ask Firoz?
I can only make a guess. I can only make a guess.
All right, so maybe it's a great time to invite our special guest into the show.
Yeah. His
None
first
other
name?
than
Who? First name?
first name. Okay, no, I'll say the first name. Shalindran.
Shalindran. Yeah.
Last name? Sathiyanesan.
You are the
Wait. If it's not coming out, right, it's wrong. Already.
very wrong name.
One more time.
You can start with what? Alright.
Shalindran. SS. Satya.
Satya what?
You know what? We
Satyapan.
can't butcher the guy's name.
Yeah lah.
Yeah,
Why not we
exactly.
get the guy himself to come and tell it for us? Let's put our hands together for Shalindran. Let's
Yes.
go, baby.
Come
I
on,
think
come on,
you're trying to escape, right? You also don't know, right?
I'm sorry. We
First
got
of all, my dad is probably
Pause,
going to be
pause.
watching this.
Yeah, and he's gonna kill all three of us. Yeah.
10 minutes.
Okay. Mr. Shalindran. Yeah, no, we
Rolling
good.
already.
We
Ah,
good.
okay,
We good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, first,
Okay.
my name is Shalindran Sathiyanesan. So you were close.
Almost.
Satyanathan,
I
come
know.
on already.
Yeah, some other guy, you know.
You got one day. One day. Satyanathan. Yeah. So tell us more, Shali. Welcome. Looking good.
Well, I mean, thanks for inviting me. I think I spoke with Melvin about this many months ago.
many
and I-
moons ago.
yeah, but it was nothing about me coming onto the show. It was more of like, hey, can you talk a little bit more about SA? And, I think good that he also started to say like, hey, why don't you come on board first, talk about, track and field and then see how it goes. And I think this is great opportunity for us, SA, for me personally as well, in the role that I am in now as well.
Right.
to talk a little bit more about athletics in Singapore. And I think happy to have this platform.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So for the audience, a quick introduction. Of course, Shalindran will say. Shalindran is the general manager of Singapore Athletics. He will tell you more. He's had a remarkable career as an athlete all the way to where he is right now. And let's touch on that. So Shali, we have seen you in different outfits. Seen you in spandex, and I've also seen you in a nice...
I'm not sure about the spandex.
Yes. I mean...
To be honest, I never seen him in spandex in real life. But maybe next year 2.4 he can do that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to organize.
It's okay. It's okay. No,
we will pull you in.
Yeah.
But maybe I talk a little bit about myself.
Please go
Because Shalindran, but most people actually call me Shali, which is what Ravin is familiar with as well. Grew up doing track and field for all my life. Started like at 4. My parents were at 4 years old. Wow. I kid you not. So my parents would literally bring me and my sister at that time to Bukit Gombak, where we would go for a run, right? And then that's how I started picking up athletics. Primary school, started running at the sports days. Teachers started to select me, right? And then did national schools, but I was actually nowhere near the national standard up until I met my last coach, which is Alfred Sim.
Oh, okay.
Back in MI. So that was like when I was 17 years old.
Right.
So he was basically my step into the national team. And it was quite late, I would say, as compared to maybe your average national teams, right? Where they would probably have a say or in a foot in at 16 years old. So competed in SEA Games at 18. This was the 2007 SEA Games, but very bad experience. I got injured at the games. I was running the 400 meters. I only ran 50 meters of the 400.
Right.
Collapsed to the ground
man.
with my hamstring basically strained. So I had to be stretched out. But that was basically the turning point for me as well, because the following year I broke the national schools record for the 400 at 49.35, which happens to be my PB till now.
Right.
Yeah, but after that, I basically did and national service. Had the opportunity to actually also still train while in national service, which is, I think, hats off to I'm from Singapore Police. So the CEO was really supportive, and like, you want to do track and field, go out there and help, right? As in, she was very helpful to me as well. So very grateful that I was given the opportunity. And then right after national service, so it was, I think, November of 2010. Just came back from Malaysia Open.
Right.
Did a PB for the 200 meters. Next day, I told my coach, hey, I want to stop.
Hey. Stop.
Why?
Stop, yeah.
Wow.
So that was really the pinnacle of my athletic career. And I told Alfred, right? Hey, I want to stop because I want to study. So he was also like, hey, what's happening? So yeah, but my decision was quite firm. So I told him, like, okay, I can still help you on the side, because he was also trying to start his business, his reactive business. So I studied plus did the side business together with him. But legs itchy lah, right? So second year, I think third year of my uni, I came back. But it was really difficult because I laid off for 3 years.
Right.
So when I came back, 52 seconds, 51, which is nowhere near where your national team would be. So totally decided to give up. Right after I finished my uni, the first job I got was, of course, SA. And again, this is it was by luck, I would say, because I was also looking for other opportunities out there. And at that time, the then GM was Yazin. Some of you might know him.
Yep.
So applied, and there was an events executive role that was open, and I applied and I got in. So it was really great because at that time was also SEA Games 2015, which all of y'all are participants of, right? So I was the part of the organizer. Right. From an events perspective, we took care of the SEA Games in 2015. I learned a lot about athletics because now it's really a shift in not just being an athlete, but now you're talking about what goes on behind the scenes. How can I help XX athletes, in sprints, in hurdles, in long distance or whatever. So it's really understanding the difference, not just sprints, right? Because I came from a sprints background, but to understand like your runs, your jumps, your throws,
Right.
and how do you combine all that into making it a good experience, not just for the athletes, but also for the coaches, for the fans, for the sponsors.
Right.
So it was really eye-opening for me. Yeah. So, and then 1 year later, because I was an athlete myself, the next GM, which is Damon.
Okay.
So along the way, I'll probably go through also why there's this role, the GM role, is probably the highest turnover rate in athletics.
Okay.
Yeah, I can explain why as well. So 1 year after, went to High Performance, take care of the national athletes, the coaches, and then I stayed there for a couple of years, and then left, and then I came back. Yeah, so that's basically how my. Well, actually, I probably did the introduction too long.
No.
It's good.
I'm going to take a pause here to let him catch his breath.
Yeah.
Because it was a good and comprehensive solid intro. He answered a lot of questions within first sharing.
Yeah.
But I think to our listeners, right, they may not have understood or know you beforehand.
Right.
So when you said you were competing in athletics since 4 years old, right?
Yeah.
And through national schools,
Right.
What were the events?
Yeah.
Aside from 400, is it mainly just 400?
Yeah, so actually in primary school, I started with 100 and long jump.
Okay.
Then
you moved.
So then I moved to the 100, 200. It was only in secondary school that I moved up to 2 and 4.
Okay.
2 and 4. Okay.
Yeah, and then it was throughout. I focused on 2 and 4, but 400 being my pet event.
Okay.
Nice.
Why have you not tried distance?
Wait, you say distance what?
Yeah,
Like
distance.
1,500.
I've tried 800, right?
Okay.
But at sports days, cannot. 400, one mile is 8 weeks. One round,
Firoz, please.
Okay, so you did try to venture out of 400, but you
Yeah.
kept it to what you were good at, which is the sprints, right?
Yeah, because I think I'm more of a sprints focus rather than endurance focus. So
Right.
even if I did, if you're doing 400, you can either do the 8 or the 2.
Right.
So I'm more of the 200
Right.
guy. lah.
So to the audience, to summarize what our dear Shalindran has said, he started off running really young, and he went through, I think, the multitude of sprint events, and he decided that 400 was his pet event.
Yeah.
With the PB of what again?
49.35.
49.35. This is 400 meter flat. You didn't try hurdles by any chance,
No.
right? Okay. So 400 meter flat, 49.35, sub 50, which was a mark that many sprinters were looking to break in their careers as a sprinter.
Yeah.
And then he joined, after his career as an athlete, he joined SA.
Yeah.
And then
Singapore
of course,
Athletics.
Singapore Athletics. He ventured out, came back to Singapore Athletics, and
Yeah.
this is where he is at the moment. Am I right to say that?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Good summary. Okay.
He also has he set a record, right? Was it in
National
ADIF?
Sorry.
ADIF.
Yeah, ADIF.
ADIF, this was in 2008.
Wow.
308.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it still standing?
No. It's good that actually athletes broke it because some of them are actually the current athletes as well.
Is it by Zubin?
Zubin was, I think, or Chin Hui was the first one to break it, and then Diru, if I'm not. Or I think Zubin still holds it.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
All right. And what was the record when you said it? 50.
No, it's also 49 something.
I thought
wow.
49, 45.
No, but this is ADIF record.
ADIF.
Yeah, but
so
he's-
actually, interestingly,
yeah.
that year, 2008, for the 400 meters, all the C, B, and A for both the men and the boys and the girls, all of us broke the record.
Wow.
Wow.
Which stadium is
And
it?
it was on the finals as well.
Wow.
Which stadium is it?
Choa Chu Kang.
Aye.
Choa Chu Kang Stadium.
That one, I heard one lap is 399.
No, actually, it's 400.
398.
Okay.
Wow,
Yeah.
Choa Chu Kang, the
Yeah.
stadium of dreams.
Actually, I
Yeah.
set my 1500 PB when I was 19 also in Choa Chu Kang.
Wow, it's a football stadium, Sports SG, please take note. And do some.
Hey, I think Pokari said, go Choa Chu Kang already. I'm going there.
If Bob take part in 2.4, he can break his record there. So. Okay, that's a very nice way to start off our conversation with Shali.
Yeah.
Boys, let's go. Let's start.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
Shalin, why SA after graduation?
Hey,
After army.
Before
Why?
that, right? You want to ask my time? You say, what is your current role right now?
Yeah.
He already mentioned already one.
But people don't know what it entails.
Okay.
That one later first.
Yeah.
The first
Give
time when
him
he
a
joined, he
chance.
wasn't the current. His current role is not there. Man. He
Give a
first.
chance to keep everyone up to speed. Updated.
Sure. As in, sure.
You are supposed to come out slowly, then reach the current role. You talk about the past first.
Okay.
Yeah, past finish already.
Done and dusted already. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, you want to
so
start
now
the current
the
role?
question
What's the question? You want the current role?
Yeah, what's this? You finished already all about the high performance, right? When you last and
Okay, his question. What? you this.
All right. So maybe we can start with GM
Yeah.
of Singapore Athletics. You
Yeah,
did
yeah,
mention that we have. You did mention very critically just now that it was a role that had a high
yes.
turnover.
Yeah.
Maybe touch on that a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe you can also tell us in that scope.
Yeah.
What does a GM of Singapore Athletics do?
Yeah.
Because we had a chance to also interview. What's the other guy's name?
Gerald?
No. Lian, right?
Oh, Lian.
No,
But Lian is not
President.
chair, he's a president.
Bro,
But you confirm work with Lian
Yeah.
very closely as well.
Yeah.
So maybe you can share
Yeah.
that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe for the audience who don't really know,
Yeah.
so Singapore Athletics is actually a charity. So we're a non-profit organization. We get all of our funding, so in fact, most of our fundings from the government.
Okay.
And then whatever else is either through the events that we run, sponsorships that we get, or just donations. So because we are a charity, a lot of the money that we put our resources in and all the programs that we run also has to be really strong. And it's not just I want to do a program just because I want to help one or two athletes. Yeah, it has to help as a collectively, either high performance or the community.
Right.
So the GM basically controls the everything else, right? Which is the finance, the performance, the community,
Right.
the kids athletics, coaches, technical officials. Basically every single thing
Yeah.
is under the care of the GM and of course the board as well.
Right.
So we in SA we have many different departments. So namely events, which is where I started off.
Okay.
High performance,
Okay.
which is where I went to after events. We have finance, of course, and then we have recently, just last year, we actually created this new role for marketing. Again, with TikTok and all these things, it's very prevalent in this modern era. So we thought, okay, actually, if you scroll back 1 year ago to our Instagrams, our Facebook, it's
A results page.
yes, it's basically very informational.
Yeah.
We post whatever that Pokari said, right? We just post the results.
Yeah.
But this time round now, what our SOPs are or our standard practices are is there's a story behind every single post.
Yeah.
And literally we want to try to connect with the audience.
Right.
So that's the change that we did with marketing. And it's a very critical role. So for me, and I have a deputy general manager as well.
All right.
2-man team to basically manage this whole departments.
Right.
Yeah, so we of course we tag team lah. So I handle the event side, a bit of marketing.
Right.
Bastian, who's the deputy GM, he handles the high performance. So we rotate as and when. And again, because I came from a high performance side, I know a little bit more about track and field, the technical side of things.
Right.
So that's how we again share and grow the sport. So that's basically what I do. Apart from general things, right?
Right.
I mean, you have your AGMs on a yearly basis.
Right.
You take care of those kind of things. We also speak to all our partners. So Sports School, Active SG, Sport SG, these are all the partners that we work with. And all the clubs, right? That participate. So we also ensure that the clubs are getting also some sort of like return, right?
Right.
We create events for you. So these are some of the things. And again, for like sports school, great partner. We want to also create a pathway for athletes, right? What is it after you graduate from sports school?
Right.
Where can I go?
Right.
So these are the conversations that we have with sports school and all these other partners. And that's where my role comes in and to connect the dots as well.
So in some way, your role is also about looking at the longevity
Yeah.
of athletics in Singapore.
Yeah.
And you have come through the stages yourself.
Yeah.
So currently, maybe we can start the conversation. Where do you think, or where would you place Singapore in regards when athletics is, as someone taking up the sport? You will see people peaking and then falling off. And then in terms of longevity, what we say is a lifespan of an athlete here currently.
Yeah. So actually, I'm not the perfect example because I stopped at 22, right?
Yeah.
And right after national service, I told myself, I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
Right. So, but taking that as an example, I also felt, actually now when I look back, I actually regret it. Right? Because I was at the peak of my career, athletics career, but why did I stop? So now for me is, I do not want to create such athletes anymore, right? I want to try and help as many athletes as possible to, and again, you look at your Chen Xiangs, your Michelles, your Shanti even, Rayong, right? All these are your SEA Games medalists, but they are still running and throwing and jumping at this age.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not to say that they are not doing well. You know, they are well supported by association or by scholarships.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that it's not possible.
Yeah.
It's just, I think, pointing the right directions, and navigating them through this path, which is then my role, basically. The more conversations I can have with these athletes, the better. And again, I think many athletes may not know, many coaches may not know that actually you can do this, right? And I think that's where we try to do better as well. Again, coaches will only know so much, right? And again, the conversations between association and athletes, moms, parents, right, or even the coaches are also very important for us to ensure that these gaps are all closed.
Right.
And again, longevity, we want athletes to still be running or throwing at 25, 26 years old.
Right.
In the past, maybe my time, our times, right?
No, your time.
My time.
Firoz was 10 years earlier than us. So
Sorry,
it's fine.
yes, correct. I forgot.
Yeah.
Little.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, parents would be like, sports has no future,
Yeah.
right? Which is a very strong, it's a very negative stigma.
Yeah.
But you look at what the Prime Minister just spoke about at NDR as well. One whole pillar was on sports, which is a big shift for us.
Yeah.
Whether it takes 10 years, 20 years, I don't know, but we are going in the right direction.
Right.
And I think that's where parents can also see that, actually the government is doing something about
You
sports.
feel confident,
Yeah, and they would be confident to send their kids to pursue this, and maybe again do it on a long-term basis.
100%.
Yeah, because again, if you look at the Olympics, the Asian Games, there's a lot of athletes who are parents.
Yeah.
Right? They have kids.
Yeah.
They give birth, especially moms.
Yeah.
Right? They give birth and they still come back to the sport.
Right.
And this is something that we don't really see here in Singapore. Right? And I think maybe this might take one generation
Right.
for it to happen.
Be cultured. Yeah.
But yeah, we try to do what we can, and I hope I can, achieve something like that in the next coming couple of years.
Mel is thinking.
Mel.
There's
Mel's
too many
clear example of one of it, right? Yeah, yeah.
Right?
You see, now you touch on a very sensitive topic.
Oh,
So
why?
Because
You're going to announce your retirement. Oh,
Hey, no, cannot.
not today. Yeah.
you see, I see here in multiple capacity.
Right.
I see here as
A
a
podcaster.
fellow athlete before you all, right? I see here also as a fellow dad,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sit here with 2 kids in mind.
Mm.
Now when you talk about longevity of sport,
Mm.
I wouldn't blame my parents' generation for saying that sport is not where they hope that I go, because it doesn't yield the kind of money to sustain our lives, and that's the thing they see. And I think it's also right because they want the best for us. They don't want to go through hardship in order to hit a wall. I mean, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You go through hardship to eventually not get anything out of it. So that's their worry, our parents. Then now, me, when I have my 2 kids, I also think back like, how can I wouldn't say encourage sport. I would definitely encourage sports in terms of participation. But
To chase
uh,
after.
yeah, but at a certain level, right, when to be honest, after finishing, university or tertiary studies, right, they got to really find something that they can
Sustain.
basically a job.
Yeah.
Right? Does sport constitute a job? That's the question mark.
Yeah.
That's the worry I have as a parent as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing it full time. I'm just doing it, trying to balance it with work and everything else. And that's also, it's really on the fence kind of thing. You really tread on like a tightrope just to balance out everything.
Am I right to say that you are looking at it in a way that they continue at high performance, contributing to the country?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So maybe I explain a little bit more. You look at it from a pyramid.
Yeah.
Right? You have your high performance at the top.
Yep.
Then maybe your development, and then your community runners.
Right.
So I won't expect like
It to be inverse, right? Like
Yeah.
your high performance becomes this,
So
right?
the more people are getting to high performance, the better
Yeah.
for the sport. But in reality, that's not the case.
Yeah.
But that's also for them, the parents, to identify and know that actually my kid maybe not high performance caliber. I don't want to push too much. Maybe development. Maybe go to like your ASEAN schools
Yeah.
level, right? And that's really good. Right. But to do high performance, it's a whole different level. Right. It's, in fact, you could even say almost borderline training full time.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, which is a lot of times parents don't understand that.
Yep.
Until they realize that, or until they know that, okay, actually this is what it takes to be a high performance athlete.
Right.
Right. And these are usually your scholars which most of the scholars, their parents are all aware, like, okay, my kid needs to do this full time for a period of time. I'm super supportive, right? You can only do this once. Do this now before you turn too late, as in too old for that as well. Yeah, because again, for track and field specifically, it's a late development sport, right? You don't see a 16-year-old doing the Olympics and winning a medal, right? Whereas in other sports, you can see that. So you would see like a 20, maybe 19-year-old onwards, where they go into the finals of an Olympics, probably maybe have a chance of winning a medal as well. But in Singapore, it's still very new. This whole concept is still very new, and we are trying to push the boundaries. Yeah.
But you see, there are 2 points. Point number one, it's still, you can't blame parents because right now itself, even if we continue high performance, it's not going to put food on our table. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Even if you can support us, it's not enough in terms of the cost of living in Singapore. Yeah, so that's
yeah.
one.
So the government is doing pretty much a lot to help in this direction as well. I mean, recently in the NDR as well, they mentioned about scholars getting CPF contributions as well, right? Which is a big step.
Yeah.
A big step in terms of buying your first house, right? Or even getting credit cards. As simple as getting credit cards.
Yeah.
Which in the past, at least would suffer.
Yeah.
So which is again the small little steps that government taking or associations taking.
Right.
To help and to again change the stigma that's around that you shouldn't be doing sports long term, during your school days and then see how, right?
Yep.
That's the big one that is always very difficult to push, but we try, right? We cannot change mindsets very easily as well.
Yeah. Then point number 2, right? It's like a chicken and egg thing.
Yeah.
So in a sense that I want to reach higher level, but I don't have the support. How? So, but on your side, I believe you show me performance, then I will come in and support. Correct? So, I think we need to enlighten the listeners.
This is a endless cycle.
Yeah. So every time, I mean, I understand their point of view. If I'm a sponsor, right, you come up to me and say, I'm upcoming, can you sponsor me?
Yeah.
I would say, like, what results do you have? This one is not good enough. Yeah. So I mean, I can see your point of view, but again, on the ground, right, when we are there, we are confident, we want to pursue something, right? We will go all out if we have the support.
Yeah. So, I mean, unfortunately, it's always performance driven, right? But you can also paint it the other way, right? We try to also change the way we benchmark athletes.
Yeah.
So we look at like maybe 16-year-old all the way to a 24 current example. And then we try to see what does that pathway look like.
Yep.
At 16, maybe this athlete was running 12 seconds.
Right.
But now he or she is running 10.
Right.
Right. But then so take that example, we then see, okay, what is that trajectory like for an athlete who's running 12 seconds now?
Right.
Right. Because don't push, right? If there's examples, and there's many examples that athlete can maybe perform better later.
Yeah.
Why not focus on that?
Right.
Right. So I think again it's the changing mindsets, but we from SA we run certain programs as well to help our development as well as high performance. We are now at because 2029 SEA Games is held in Singapore.
Okay.
Right. We need to have athletes competing on home soil.
Yeah.
So if we don't start now, 5 years out, I'm maybe gonna get only the three of y'all to compete.
Hey, let's go! Let's go, baby! Maybe Bob will join us 4x4. Let's go!
Yeah. So if we don't start now, right, we won't have athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch out. Okay.
So wait,
Yeah.
Then what's the thinking behind 2015 SEA Games in Singapore? Back then, do you all have enough athletes?
Was that a lot? Oh yeah.
Yeah. So in 2015, if I'm not wrong, it was 70 over.
It was the
60.
largest contingent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I heard.
Oh, did it come to y'all as a surprise? Like now 2029 is going to be us. 2015, they all know before.
Yeah, correct.
We probably knew. So this was before my time, because the planning would have been started like even before I joined, right? So the thinking would have been, we want to send as many athletes as possible. Use this SEA Games as a stepping stone to your athletic career.
Right.
So of course there are certain criteria you have to meet, right? I think at that time was either you're a top athlete or you need the SEA Games bronze medals mark. So yeah, it will be somewhat similar, right? I don't know the criteria for 2029 yet, but we would want to have at least more athletes hitting SEA Games bronze medal mark so that it gives us a little bit of competitive edge.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we want to fill. So our aspirations are basically to fill 2 athletes per event per gender. Yeah, which will be about 70 to 80 athletes. So the young ones now, 5 years later, you have that opportunity if you start again right now, and to see that actually, maybe track and field is something I want to do. You want to be serious about it. Talk to your coach. If you also want to talk to the association, we're happy to
arrange
come. Yeah, you come to the office. You talk to your parents as well. A lot of the athletes right after school they stop, and we've seen this on data.
Yeah.
Especially after national school games, all of them, your top athletes suddenly, 40% of them just drop and they go to other sports like frisbee or touch rugby. Maybe because it's a team sport and I always
fun.
call it I always call it sexier, right? But track and field is day in day out.
It's grueling.
Every single day you're doing the same thing. Maybe a tweak here and there, but it's challenging, and I think it really takes someone who has a lot of grit,
Right.
to keep doing this over and over again.
Right.
Yeah. So I think 2029 we have quite a number of good youngsters in the pipeline right now. But I think for us the challenge would be to grow that number.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
which is again then a shout out and call out to the younger ones.
And it's also a shout out and call out that Shalindran will still be the GM until 2029 in Singapore Athletics. So
you ensure that transition.
I'm starting nervous now.
Well, I mean, so go back to that point about the high turnover. Since 2014 till now, I believe we had about 8 to 9 GMs.
Wait,
8 to 9
so
GS.
in a
10
10-year
years.
window, it's literally every year someone's coming. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Yazin, Damon, Jamie, Ren Kai, and then Malik, Gerald, Leon, and then myself. Sorry, 8. In a 10-year span.
I'm sure you'll address this later.
Yeah.
But doesn't that impact the organization in a disadvantageous way where the leader keeps shifting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, for the staff, right?
Yeah.
Imagine the amount of like, one day this is the way you do things. The next day someone else
180
comes in.
degrees.
It's very difficult. But I don't know. I mean, maybe because most of the staff in SA are also past athletes.
Right.
So you kind of adapt, right?
Yeah.
But I cannot say this for maybe a different company. Yeah, but we do what we can.
Right.
Right. And I think my job now is to ensure that there's a bit of stability.
Right.
And again, if you love the sport, I think you would do whatever it takes to ensure that you do what it takes to bring athletics up, basically.
Right. I'm still waiting for the reason why the high turnover.
That also I don't know.
Okay, let's give this guy a break first. Sure. So, earlier on, you mentioned that you started out, you started your career, your professional working career in Singapore athletics, and then you went out, do something else, and then you came back.
Yeah.
So I think right now I hear your passion, I hear your fire to bring athletics to 2029 and beyond.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, I'm interested to know, right? Why do you want to come back into Singapore athletics again?
No. Why do you want to leave?
Why do you want to leave first? Yeah. Okay, maybe it's not why do you want to leave.
So much for a break.
Yeah. Tell us during that period.
So he was,
I'm sure
he
everyone
was,
will know.
he was part of those who left.
Yeah.
Come
So
on.
this was 2017, 2018 is when it started. So I actually joined in 2014, and like end of 2014. So I was there in SA for about 3+ years. But at that time, towards the end of my first stint, there were, I mean, this is publicly written, right? There were some issues in SA, like infighting. And again, in the past, there was a lot of these infighting, which then became very difficult for the staff, right? Because if you have all these plans out and, you share this with the board or the management committee members, but they had their own agendas and they had a different direction towards how they wanted to see athletics. And that's where it didn't align with me. So yeah, I know when you present all these ideas, basically get shot down, it becomes a bit demotivating for any of us. So decided to look around and had the opportunity to join the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy for about 3.5 years as well, which basically was the turning point towards why I wanted to come back to SA as well. Because in the LKY school, it's a public policy school, so you learn a little bit more about policy, about being transparent, about being fair. Creating a policy to help the fellow citizens. So I felt that was very eye-opening. And it's something that because I get to sit in lectures for free, I mean, without getting a cert, right? But it was very useful because I mean, a lot of these faculty members, the lecturers, they are people who, like, you tell them a problem, they will explain to you, actually, why do you do this and that and this and that, right? But which is something that I learned. And I felt, okay, actually, why not we do this for SA? Right? And then that's where Lian's team in 2020 decided to put their head in and be run for elections.
Right.
And I actually sat in, this was over Zoom, right? During COVID. So I actually sat in their, what is it called? Their speech, basically, right? They're pitching about themselves. And I actually anonymously asked a few questions. And I told this to Lian as well. And they answered really well, and I think they were really different from how the previous managements were. And it's not that the previous managements were bad. I think it's just different ideas put forward. And Lian's team were very young, and also I would say new, which was something that I felt connected to. Right, I was very aligned to that because new ideas sometimes may be good, may be bad, but they were willing to do and take that risk.
Changes,
And you see that 4 years later, we have best number of SEA Games medals. We have Asian Games medals.
Yep.
And it's since 1974.
Yep.
So I think that's where I felt I want to put myself back in. So they were trying to hire a pathway manager.
Yeah.
So dealing with, again, from kids athletics all the way to a master's athlete,
Yeah.
what does that pathway look like?
Yeah.
Right. So I was actually hired to do that. But at that time, the then general manager, just when I was about to join, I was going to join the next week. We had a meeting with the week before, and it's like, actually, I'm leaving. I just resigned. That's like, dude, you didn't tell me this before. But of course,
Give you a surprise.
Yeah. So, I mean, goes on, right?
Yeah.
Life goes on. Did the role, but eventually, Lian's team decided to make me the acting GM. For a while before they found a replacement GM. And then when the replacement GM was found, I was actually the deputy. And then that GM left, and then I was promoted to the GM.
Wow.
Yeah. So many steps. I think I would say maybe I set myself up to this role as well because I did events, I did high performance, had my hand in marketing for a while as well, and
Policy.
I think policy work and stuff like that. So I think having had the experience in all these little departments helped. And of course now it's still helping in my role. Yeah.
Fun fact, right?
Yep.
In 2020,
Right.
Trackside Talks was born.
Wow.
Let's go,
And in
baby.
September 2020, we held broadcast Lian's team.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, I think I saw that.
Yeah.
In someone's very fancy house, right? Remember? Hey.
I know the meme. yeah. So it's and of course, I drew a lot of similarities between our past episode and guest because your ex-coach Alfred is also on our guest.
Yeah.
Previously. Yeah. And then of course we did that broadcast out, first ever broadcast for the entire team that time.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So there was similarities we can tread along. But I can feel that you have rotated across almost every team within Singapore Athletics. And then now, now being the general manager, you probably have an idea of how you function,
Right.
what are the kind of actually I think the profile of the people working in each department also matters a lot.
Yeah.
To bring out the best out of that, the team.
I mean, the GM role is actually, now that I'm in it, it's a lot of work. Yeah, really, it's
Back when you were in events, you're like, what is the GM doing? And now it's like, hey, bro.
Back then you deal with one problem, and then now GM then
everybody's problem.
Yeah, so basically every problem
Becomes
the
yours.
GM basically needs to know. Right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to solve these problems with your department,
Right.
right? Which is, it's a lot. So again, all the departments that I mentioned, every single thing I have to know, right? And again, with all the problems that athletes have, right, we are probably the first to know as well because the athletes would come to us directly, and then we try to solve it. So it's I would say maybe that's also why some of the GMs felt a little bit overwhelmed because one is either you don't have the technical knowledge,
Right.
And two is maybe because you don't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have the experience or you don't know who to work with. Which partner do I go to?
Right.
Which maybe I have that advantage because I've been in track and field since I was 4. Right, and I've worked with many different people. Yeah, so I mean this is what I think lah.
Right.
Yeah, but in when I left, the then GM was Ren Kai, and I think Ren Kai was actually one of the really supportive. He was literally the one who also said, "Hey, one day I want you to be taking over my role, and I want to groom you to be the GM." So I think that was what I thought that was really good. Right, and as a leader, I think that's something that I would also want to help my staff as well, because one day I may not be here, but I also want to do succession planning, which is how do I find the next GM, the next manager, the next which is important. I think that's something that a lot of companies or associations don't think about, and I'm happy to help whoever who comes. And for me, I keep a very flat hierarchy. You know,
Right.
I don't believe in hierarchies,
Yeah.
right? It's so literally you see me going down to help
Right.
set up things,
Right.
right? Or tear down things.
Right.
And I think that's just how you connect with your staff members.
Right.
Yeah.
Melvin is interested in the president seat, man.
Sure. Elections 2026.
Yeah, he's been talking about this to me
President
and
of
Ravin.
Perum Pasir lah.
But I think you can work with
Maybe.
Liam better.
It was okay. No, lovely.
Lovely,
Which then
lovely,
leads
let's-
really nicely to the conversation about your time here. You've been through so many teams.
Yeah.
You would have experienced the good, the bad, the ugly, right? So, for the viewers and for ourselves, what is the biggest, the highest point that you had as your time here in athletics, and the lowest as well?
Maybe I'll start the lowest first lah, because that was basically the 2018 one, right?
Okay.
Where the things that were said didn't align, and you know, it really caused a lot of stress. Because then you cannot really focus on your job.
Yeah.
So I mean, just backstory was there was someone within SA who was trying to fault find a coach. And basically me, because there was a screenshot of a WhatsApp conversation that was leaked.
Okay.
And just so happened that my name was,
Ah.
because I was inside that WhatsApp, my name was there. And it was a comment that was not even related to the whole
Conversation,
incident.
yeah.
So it was taken out of context. And because of that, I had to go for lawyers, they had to call you into a
Interrogation.
interrogation, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Which again is, hey, I'm wasting my time doing this
Right,
because
right.
one is they're trying to fault find people for the wrong reasons.
Right.
Right. And it just became very ugly.
Okay.
So lowest point I would say is that because you're not helping the sport.
Right.
Yeah, you're not helping the sport at all. And so yeah, that was the big learning lesson for me, because it's like I could have just not participated,
Yeah.
and be basically, I don't know. I mean, it's just a bit weird lah that this thing had happened, and maybe could have been. Now that I'm in this role, I think that's where I can protect the staff correctly,
Right.
and also try to navigate them correctly,
Right.
and to ensure that these things don't happen. Because whatever policies that we do now, it's all fair, transparent, right?
Yeah.
This is what I always revolve around.
Yeah.
You create a policy, make sure that it's fair to all the athletes.
Right.
Make sure that it's transparent. You show and communicate this to everyone, which is, again, we learn through the whole process, but that's how we stamped our policies from. So that would be my lowest point. The highest point probably would be SEA Games, and basically the whole of last year.
Okay.
Because we had SEA Games in Cambodia as well as Asian Games.
Right.
And everything before that led up to the success of these two games. And our performance, our great performances at these two games as well. So the team basically did really well, as in I'm talking about the secretariat, right?
Okay.
To take care of the athletes, to ensure that every single thing is taken care of, right? From the start of their training camps, all the way to the competition.
Right.
Right. And all this would not have been possible if not for the constant care, communication that we have done and set up. So having set up association within the secretariat was probably the highest point. Right? And it's something that we always aspire to, again, the 2029 goal. How do we do better than the 2025 or 2024 version of ourselves?
Right.
Yeah. So I think for me, at least, is growth lah. I mean, I always want to see everyone do better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not just us, secretariat, but also for the athletes, the coaches. How do we help you?
Yeah.
Right, do better than your previous self. Yeah.
That's nice.
Nice, man.
Seems like you all are doing a lot, but
Yeah, we do a lot, but again, I think we don't expect anything in return, right? Because this is our bread and butter, which we have to do for the community. But again, it's the conversations that we have with the community. Can we then do better? That's where we need to engage.
Right.
And that's maybe one thing that we lack. We don't do as much. And we, again, this one is something that we want to do and aspire to do better as well. Because I may not know what a long distance runner needs, right? Your right? So but I mean, I may know what you need, but I may not know what Feroz needs, right? And that's where I need to have the engagement to ensure that everyone's, or at least 80% of the community is heard. So yeah, I think that's, and again, it's not just the long distance, right? You have your jumps, your throws. Within jumps, you have your horizontal and your vertical jumps. So it's many different people.
Right.
And yeah, we try. We have a very small team, including myself is 11.
Okay.
We have 2 coaches. One is head coach for jumps and one is a head coach for throws. And the rest are all doing administrative things. So it's a very, very small team, but we do actually a lot. Yeah, we do a lot.
Agree.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So
you touch on succession.
Yes.
And I think I'm not trying to find a new successor for you, but
Sure.
but I think to the listeners who have been supporting our show, they will want to know, like, from your angle, what is that one piece of advice that you can share with them after going through starting athletics at a young age of 4, setting a record, okay, and then going through 2 stints with Singapore Athletics right now. You've seen the good, bad, ugly,
pretty,
everything else.
Yeah.
So, the people who might be aspire to listen and go towards that path, what's that one piece of advice that you want to share with them?
Yeah, I would say to really talk to the people that you trust, or rather people that have done this before. And so try to find your mentors, your role models, and approach them, because a lot of these things you don't know until you find out, right? And you maybe only know that these things can happen until you find out about it lah. So likewise, I mean, I wouldn't have known that I wanted to do this and that, right, until I went to speak to people.
Right.
Like again, I brought up Remkai as an example.
Right.
All these things, there won't be a seed planted if not for me actively going to seek out that seed.
Right.
Which is point number 1, right? And point number 2 is you have to try, again, longevity.
Right.
Put yourself in. Think about what is this that you want to do day in, day out.
Right.
Because I could have easily given up when I was right after NS, right? But I decided not to, and there was just that itch in me that says, hey, this is athletics. I love the sport so much. I want to do this. I want to continue on.
Right.
So I would say, I mean, again, these 2 points actually interlink because you need to find that person to help you with that as well. So don't give up, find the right people. Even if it means coming to someone from the association to speak about things. I mean, there are a lot of athletes out there right now who say like, hey, I want to contribute back to athletics.
Right.
We have, one boy from Australia as well, who's based in Australia, who does this on Instagram, where he talks about...
Oh, Amir.
Amir, right? Talks about performances. Great initiative. That's how Shah also started off.
Okay.
Right? Because Shah used to do blogs writing about results. And now he's working in athletics as well for the longest time.
Right.
So I would say, like, for me, it's identifying all these little talents. And then when the opportunity comes, grab it, right? Because a lot of these opportunities, you don't try, you never know.
Right.
Yeah. So communications lah. I think that's key, and pursuing what you really want to do.
Right.
And finding the right person to help you get there.
Okay. Oh, that's very nicely said.
Yeah.
Which then, one simple question then. Do you think Trackside Talks will be the official podcast for Singapore Athletics?
I did speak to Melvin about this before. I mean, this is really great because SA, we also want to get athletics out to the community. And again, there's not many platforms and I don't have the resources.
Right.
Can I get someone to help me? Sure. Right. And I think you guys have created your brand.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we are happy to see where we can collaborate and get more guests in.
Sure.
Yeah.
In short, he said, resources, so no money for us.
Can find sponsor.
We send you the quotation first.
Because wait, do we still do our Singapore Open at Sports Hub? Will that be the continuation moving forward?
That's the idea.
Okay.
So the contract actually ended this year.
Right.
Now we're in the midst of
Choa Chu Kang.
3 year. Yeah, maybe
Choa Chu Kang.
Yeah.
for the heats lah.
The finals, we go to somewhere. Okay.
Yeah, so that's something that we're working with the 4 different parties.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of stakeholders there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love this.
I love it, man.
Yeah, one full circle, The men who started at 4, coming
That's
back
right.
to be the podcast, and the guys who started at maybe 24, 34, 44. Also hosting the men who started. Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Shalindran.
No
Hey,
problem.
yeah.
Happy to
Thank
be
you, man,
here.
Shali.
Yeah, happy. I mean, again, thanks so much for having me, and
Right.
we hope all of us, grow together in the sport. And next year,
Alright, man.
Pocari Sweat, we'll see you there.
4x4, huh?
4x4, Bob included.
4x4.
Okay, that I reserve.
We have the fastest 400 among all of
Yes,
us.
precisely. Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap up for Trackside Talks. See you guys
Yep.
soon.
Thank you.